Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Timeless, Season 1, Episode 16. It is the season finale. It's called The Red Scare. Full spoilers for the episode. For once, the title of the show is actually apt, because we don't know if this is getting renewed.
Yeah.
It's actually on the bubble, because I noticed Sean Ryan and Kripke were tweeting earlier. Make sure you watch it live, hashtag renew Timeless, so...
And as we spoke about in the TV news, perhaps there are some other factors contributing to this.
Yeah, unfortunately, there've been not them individually, but Sony as a whole are being accused of plagiarism by a Spanish production company who did a Spanish show that had a very, very similar premise, and they're currently tied up in legal disputes, so that could unfortunately hold it back as well, which will extremely piss me off now that I've seen the finale.
Yeah, because it's almost not that satisfying on its own.
Well, this is the thing. I actually seen. I don't know if it was Kripke or Ryan during the week. I don't know. I can't remember which one it was. But one of them in an interview said, "Oh, if we don't get renewed, it's not too bad because we've told the story we wanted to tell, and the finale kind of closes that off." Does it nothing? It closes nothing off, you asshole.
Nothing's resolved, really.
No, it presents as if it's been resolved for a good chunk of the episode, but there's big things, and even before it got to the twist, and we'll get to the twist, obviously we'll save that for later, because end of the episode and all that, and I did say full spoilers, so you've been warned. So, once the kind of, and we'll talk about the first half of the episode, right, in a bit, but I just want to talk about how when they thought they'd resolved it, they came up with their plan, and we came back to present day, and we got a series of sequences of, oh, here's all this evidence, here's people arresting Flynn, here's people doing this, and all these different things. Probably one of my bigger complaints of the episode, and I liked it for the most part. There's a lot of stuff I liked in this episode. For some reason, I always seem to go to the negative stuff first. But when Flynn was talking to Lucy, and he was like, I should give you this journal back, and I was like, wait a minute. I've got two points here. In fact, it was actually before this I had one thought. I was thinking, it's weird how in this entire season they've not played with the idea that they'll meet him out of order. Like, in no point have they met him where he's already... Other than the fact that he already has this journal, other than the thing that happened before the show, there's been no them being ahead of him because they meet a younger version.
Yeah, it's because they've always been actively chasing him. They've been reacting instead of...
Which makes sense, don't get me wrong, there's a plot reason for it and it makes sense, but it just, in terms of like a science fiction piece of writing, I find it really bizarre.
It's a missed opportunity.
They never tried to do it. Now, of course, it's something that's there for future season. Then we get to that scene where she's giving him information, here's the people who ordered the hitting your wife and kid, and the people who carried it out, so on and so on. And Christopher shows up with the agents, like, he's still a terrorist, Lucy, I need to arrest him. Key points made by both. I'm not going to decide who's right or wrong in this scenario. But she asks him, when did you get this? Like, because all I could think before this, I'm like, well, she still has to give him the journal at some point in the future. And obviously he has a line here where he says, oh, you age gracefully or something like that. And I'm like, oh, so she's much older when she gives it to him. And that's interesting. And we already know they can't go, like, ahead. At least I'm pretty sure they said they can't go in the future. And they've already said they can't occupy the city. So older Lucy must come back in time at some point.
She has to,
yeah.
It's the only way that can work.
Yeah, it's the only way it works. And that's fine, that's good.
Unless he visits older Lucy, but then...
No, but we can't go in the future, though.
Future, yeah, you're right.
So...
Can we?
Well, maybe they'll change it, and maybe they can come season 2.
I mean, there's things in this that hint that maybe they could.
But let's talk about just... The thought I was having, though, during this whole thing is, okay, we've not had the twist yet, right? We've not had the teases of what season 2 and what the future plots could be yet. At this point, we're just wrapping things up. So let's say we never got the twist, and we never got the other little tease about what season 2 could be. Let's say they just wrapped it up cleanly, just in case it never got renewed, and it was, oh no, Rittenhouse is done, bow tied, Flynn didn't get to save his family, but he's away to prison, but hey, that was it, that's all you're getting. Let's say that's what happened in the episode. The fact that she, for some reason in the future, has to come back in time to give him the journal, still tells me there's so much more to this story that we've not got to yet.
Yeah, and also, I would find that rather unsatisfying as an ending, because it all just happens off screen. It's like, oh, it's all done. Problem solved.
Yeah. because that was probably my main complaint, is a lot of this stuff felt really quick, and it was all very sugary, sweet, and happy. Of course, it twisted at the end. I'm actually quite glad it twisted, because the twist made the last 10 minutes a lot more interesting.
It's one of those things where it's like, damn it, it's twisted, and now it's like, if this doesn't get a season 2, it feels unfinished.
If it doesn't get a season 2, this is super unfinished. This will be so unsatisfying if there's no more.
But if it hadn't had the twist, and it's like, oh, okay, we could have left it here, I don't think I'd have been satisfied with the ending either.
No,
because it was just, okay.
Too easy. Too neat and clean and easy.
Exactly.
It felt like so much. It felt like we were building to exploring so much, and it didn't feel explored yet. It felt like, as much as they had been shaking up the formula, they didn't really do much with the time travel, the science fiction, really, as the season went on. And I think that would have been the big missed opportunity. That said, they do explore one new thing in this one, and I actually really like that. The whole idea that Lucy's grandfather is actually a nicer guy, and she convinces him to sort of stay in Rittenhouse to document everything and be a spy.
Yeah.
And she comes back and sees him in present day, and he's like an old man. I like that stuff.
Yeah, I had one little problem. When Flynn was saying, "Oh, I'm going to go to the meeting, I'm going to blow it all up and kill everyone there, including your grandfather," it's like, I don't know what that'll mean for you, but
it also means you won't get the journal, you idiot.
Oh yeah, but it was hinting that it might wipe her out of existence, right? But then she goes and meets her grandfather straight away.
And he's
still
not there.
In the same timeline. And no, he says he's already got a son. His son's already born.
Obviously, Flynn didn't know that.
Well, okay. But I feel like, did he not do his research? Isn't that kind of his whole thing?
No, it's because we didn't know that until he said, "I've got a son." We never knew that, which pans out given his age when I think about it, because his essay is about 10 at this point. Yeah. It works out with his age in present day.
Exactly.
So it works out.
Yeah. Okay.
I obviously didn't think about it. Because even if it's not a case of, oh, I'll kill your dad, or your family will be wiped out, maybe it's a case of, well, because your grandfather dies, your dad does something differently, and maybe it would
could be, I suppose,
lead them off course, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Butterfly effect. Also, I like the. I actually get a big laugh out of when they walk into what they think's a secret Rittenhouse meeting, and they're looking around, and why it's just like, Rittenhouse is a lot more gay than I thought it would be. That was pretty funny.
It was.
Secret gay club. Actually, I thought they handled all that really well, honestly.
Yeah, I liked all the 50s stuff, actually.
Because as much as, obviously they've handled the race stuff really well with Rufus throughout the season, but because none of the main characters are gay, they've never really had to tackle it. Yeah. And it was actually kind of a nice thing. The scene in the car when our grandfather talks about his homosexuality, as if it's almost as if he's an alcoholic. That's the way he talks about it, as if it's an addiction that he's trying to get rid of, that it's a sick habit. I think it's one of the phrases he uses.
Yeah.
And both of them, with modern sensibilities, like it's not. Obviously, he can't just come out and say that because it is the 50s and he will be arrested. It's illegal.
Yeah. But, it's well, maybe you shouldn't be cheating on your wife, but that aside.
Oh, true. But then you get into an argument: is he only with the wife because he's pressured into keeping up the?
Well, yeah, exactly.
The appearance and whatnot, but very emotionally conflicting. But anyway, I thought that was all well handled. I thought that all felt super genuine. It felt like they were hitting the points without it being too preachy or without it being too over the top.
Yeah, because it didn't dwell on it too long. It was just okay, it's relevant because it's like, hey, we didn't know this. This is a turn of events, because obviously it's a surprise to them, and where they find him means it's already in the conversation. And
it's also smart writing because it's a very quick way of setting up why he isn't just all for Rittenhouse. He's got this reason, because he would be killed if they ever found out about it. He has a reason to fear them as well. It gives him this sense of humanity outside of it that makes him a better person just by kind of default. It's a very quick, because you could just write a normal person that would have a reason to get people who are just good, and that's fine. But this is a very quick way to sell to the audience that no, he has this. This is why he disagrees with them. This is why he is more easily convinced. And I loved the scene of him seeing the time machine and it disappearing. I thought that whole scene was done really well. The music was quite good. It was really amping up, and it was just this wonderment on his face because I actually thought they were going to bring him back to present day. That's what I thought was about to happen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was just the way they showed up with them. It wasn't until it was just about showing them, just to prove that
they can.
Yeah, that was a time machine. And then I thought the scene in present day was really sweet when she showed up, And he was like, oh, I thought, did I imagine it? Because, I mean, let's be honest, this was one night of this guy's life, and it's been decades and decades. It's been over half a century, in fact. And he's still waiting. And he's like, I kept thinking about running, but then one day my son said, I've got a daughter named her Lucy. And that's like the moment he's like, that was real. If he was doubting. And I liked all those ideas. It was playing with a lot of cool things. A couple of small complaints about the start of the episode, and this is maybe tying in again to the later stuff where it felt a bit rushed. So Jaya's just there, and Christopher has one line. Oh, it was really hard getting her out of Mason Industries.
Yeah.
Was it? It felt like all the writers did would go, it was really hard getting her out of Mason Industries. That's all the explanation you get.
Yeah, it was kind of very... Honestly, all the Jaya stuff in this episode felt really convenient.
Some of it did. I'll admit I was a bit on my edge because as soon as it was implied she was going with them, I'm like, oh god, she's the expendable one. She's the one who could die if they're going to kill someone. So I was worried even before there was any hint of stuff. All slight complaint from the start as well is they really kind of last week's cliffhanger was kind of a cop out.
Yeah, it was. It was like, oh, so he was fine and he just piloted it, no problem. There was nothing.
It cuts to them in present day. They got here and you set up this struggle.
It's like, hey. Nice job landing that one.
Yeah, that was basically
cool.
it. So that kind of devalued the cliffhanger from last week, which is a shame. But no, I like Jaya. I like the chemistry. It did feel really weird how every time it cut to a scene with her and Rufus, it was something in her eye. Oh, she's got into a coma and spasming, and
it was super convenient how so there's 4 of them going back, so stuff could go wrong. But it's only going to affect one person, and it's only going to affect the person who happens to be extra this time. What?
I'm not going to complain about that super much, just because
it just feels convenient.
Well, it does just now, but there might actually be a reason for that.
All right, if they give me one later, I'll take this back. But right now, it just felt like, oh well, we don't want to give any of the main 3 this stuff, so let's just throw the extra one in and give it to her. Is how it felt.
Yeah, but that could be a good thing, because this could give her character a bigger importance going forward, because she's got this thing about her.
Yeah, but I don't know. It just felt like, well, why is it affecting just her? Like,
well,
I get,
like I'm saying, there could be. It could be because she has never done this before. Like they have all went through this process so many times and went through the wormholes. That their bodies are used to it, and because she was also the most affected by the seasick, as Wyatt called it.
Yeah. I don't know.
I feel like there could be a really easy explanation. Like, I would accept a one-line explanation for that more than I would, getting Jaya out Mason Industries was really hard. Just happened off camera, it was fine. She got her out somehow.
It's not great, was it?
That wasn't great. But let's talk about the Jaya thing. Let's talk about what that plot leads to. Because I have to admit, because as I was saying earlier, and I was saying how it's weird how they've not experimented with finding him at different, out of order, talking about Flynn, and there's so much other time stuff they've not really explored, and then there's that moment in the hospital bed where she does the eye flickering thing again, and we see outside the bridge, it's like she's vibrating, not to go into Flash terminology, it's like she's out of frequency almost for a couple of seconds, and she's in a different version of reality. It's like going through as the extra person, or going through, it could even just be a simple case of, this wouldn't specify why it's her that's affected, but because she was helping pilot it, and she had, because they keep talking about how dangerous it is and how it's easy to, that's why they have to train so heavily, and,
yeah.
Maybe that's why there's a glitch at all, beyond it just being 4 people, but the idea that something happened to her that's making her conscious or whatever dip into an alternate version of the timeline. Because
see, that was my question. Is it just an alternate timeline, or is that a future?
I think it's alternate timeline. I think this is same time, same place, but different version of reality because stuff's been affected.
That makes sense, but I just keep it as a possibility.
It could be a mix of both. It could be same time, same place, but it could be predicting a change that's not been made in the past yet, rather than being this is a reality that's concurrently running along.
It could be, yeah.
So it's like she's predicting that this will happen because of something Rittenhouse does in the past, but it's not actually went back and been done yet. She's a warning system. She's an early warning system. Maybe. I don't know.
You never know. It's hard to, obviously we don't get that much information. It's hard to predict exactly what it is.
I like the tease though. I jumped up, see when that bridge went all post-apocalyptic, and it came
I was
back.
like, oh, this is interesting.
And she came back as well. I'm like, oh. So at least now I feel like, oh, they're not just going to kill her off, because I feel like she's important now. There's a plot to be done from this. This isn't just...
Yeah.
So that's cool. So the twist, was there anything else before we get to the twist? Was there anything else? I suppose we saw about Mason actually being a good guy.
What a shock.
I'm glad though.
Yeah, me too.
I'm pretty glad. I was pretty upset.
What was his really sarcastic line as he came into the group, and Wyatt pulls the gun on him?
Oh, I can't remember.
It cracked, whatever it was, it cracked me up.
It was really funny, especially when he was because he's using that. Basically, his whole thing was a ploy to get access to that NSA computer database thing that he wanted last week. Yeah. And now that he's got it, he's using it against Rittenhouse. He was playing the long game. Yeah. He mentioned 3D chess, which is a really subtle Star Trek reference, which I thought was pretty cool. But I like when he's like talking to him, and they're in this room with all the old files that Lucy's grandfather's got for them. And he's like, yeah, you give me the names of Rittenhouse, I'll get every phone call, everything else, and then every willy pick they've ever sexted to each other.
But he says sexted really early. Like, he pauses like halfway through. It's like, nope, I'm going to commit to this. I'm going to finish this sentence.
Yeah, it's like he regretted saying willy pick. He regretted that phrase, and he thought, I need to finish it. But yeah. It was really funny. It was the same later on because Christopher's like, all right, I agreed to help you get your sister back. We're going to let you take the lifeboat out once more. Wyatt's going to go with her. They have their kind of romantic moment that's not too far. I think just the right amount of, we've kind of grown close, but we're not committing to it yet. We can do that during season 2 if that happens. Whereas we got Rufus and Jaya having their romantic moment, which I thought worked quite well.
Yeah.
So, but now Mason walks past them. He's like, all right, team. It was just the way I'm happy he's on Team Good. So if we do get season 2 and he's like permanently on the good team now, and we don't have to go through this whole process of him pretending to be bad
it's over and done with now.
Yeah, but I do like that his whole thing was about trying to protect Rufus, that he has that bond with him, because we've seen that from early on, and it was about trying to protect him. So no, that's cool. So, 3 hours till the lifeboat's ready to go. Lucy says, right, I need to go somewhere. She goes to her mother, Moira Queen. And I'll be honest, it took me several episodes to notice who that was.
Did it?
It did. And then James confirmed it in the Facebook group recently. I'm like,
I never thought it was worth mentioning because Arrow.
I know, I don't like Arrow. But this is the first time I've seen her since I was aware of it, and I was like, oh yeah, it's Moira Queen. Oh jeez. But
she was never the problem with that show.
She wasn't, but still, makes me think of it. Unwanted thoughts.
That's true.
So Lucy comes in, and I was like, what was the point of this? I wasn't sure what she was going to, and it was mainly just my own forgetfulness of like, because I forgot that, she's going to be sick if her sister comes back. I'd forgotten that part of it. So I'm like, why is she even telling her? Because I thought she was just trying to convince her that a sister did exist. And then she mentioned the sick, and I was like, oh, that's right, yeah, she was like dying of cancer or whatever.
That's exactly why they put that line of dialogue there, just in case you'd forgotten.
Well, do you know what I liked actually? I liked that they put the fake Beyonce in the previously on, because had they not, I wouldn't have remembered his face.
Me either.
When he showed up to like fix Rufus, I'd have been like, who the hell's this guy?
Same.
It wouldn't have been until they went outside and they started talking, I'd be like, oh right, it's him. But I would never have remembered his face ever.
No, not a chance.
But yeah, so she goes and she's like, oh, you were sick, and she gets emotional and she's like, I just want to say I love you before she goes off to possibly change reality. And that's cool. And because everything had been going so quickly paced, I was almost expecting them to get a montage of them going to a time period and just a couple of quick shots of it happening.
Yeah, and just wrap it up really nicely.
I really could have seen the final shot being her hugging her sister in present day, like, oh, we're all happy. And then and I'll admit, I didn't see this coming. Full props to them. They're hugging, and her mother says, don't worry, Rittenhouse won't let you erase me or make me sick.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn! Damn, you sly bastards! I did not see that coming.
I like how it is so obvious, because she goes, how do you think I met your dad?
It is obvious when you think about it.
Oh, yeah, good point. It's not exactly, he wasn't very secretive about it the whole time, was he?
I guess it's because she doesn't stay with him. She went, because that's how in the original she had the sisters. She married someone else, and Lucy thought that was her dad as well, and that was the whole thing. So we assumed that because that it felt like a one night stand or something that was separated from time, and she hadn't seen him in years, that kind of thing. But it was like, oh damn, and then she's like, what? You're going to go back and try and ruin everything that we're building to save some woman that no one but you remember? Like, she's so cold. It is so dark. Oh man, and it opens
literally
up
dismissing her own daughter.
I know it opens so much questions. Like, were they manipulated to erase her in the first place to fix her? Did Rittenhouse like intentionally manipulate things to save her in the first place because she was sick?
Could be.
And that's interesting.
I mean, but that seems like a because obviously that was all back in the first episode, and Rittenhouse wasn't really. It was very accidental and coincidental, wasn't? Because Flynn was the one who took the initiative to go there.
Has he been manipulated?
Well, that's another question entirely.
I mean, Mason's playing 3D chess, or
well, yeah,
Rittenhouse playing 5D Dungeons and Dragons or something. I don't know. Either way, it opens up a lot more questions, and you get the sense that they're this even bigger threat than we thought. That it wasn't this simple. Because there was a point when they were arresting our dad and Bobby from Supernatural, and they were taking him away really quickly, and Christopher came in all smug and smiling. Oh, you've been relieved of your duty. Thank you for your service. Like, this feels far too easy. Like, they built him up so much, and this just feels super quick.
It felt really cheap, which is why I was saying I was so glad there was a twist, because it felt super unsatisfying. That I was like, is this it? Like. Okay, we got Data, that's cool.
Yeah, but not only was there a twist that meant that it wasn't that easy, the twist was actually good. Like, it actually caught me off guard, and I was like, oh, yeah, good. Yeah. And she sounded proper evil, and I'm like, maybe this is why you cast someone who has been a main star on another show. Because we've only seen her a few times throughout the season.
She's probably only been in like 4, maybe 5 episodes.
But this is maybe why you cast someone who you know can carry a larger role, and you say, look, season 1 you're going to have much to do, but that's because we're building to this twist. And once
and season 2 you're the main bad guy.
Yeah, that's kind of what it feels like. And she's talking about how now Rittenhouse has the main time ship, and we see Emma. It apparently is the Rittenhouse operative. She's killed all the soldiers from the FBI. Whoever's running Christopher's show.
I have no idea who she's with anymore.
I have no idea. Generic government agency number 3, and we see she's got the time ship, and she's maybe going to go and cause havoc. But we end here. We cut on this dark revelation. It's
a good ending as long as there's a season 2.
If there's season 2, then this was a great ending. A couple of elements were rushed, and my complaint about Jaya being magically sprung from the building.
I stand by my thing about unless they retroactively explain it, I'm still a bit unhappy with the convenience of her being the one. Just I'm the one who gets it, and it didn't affect anyone else in any way.
They're all a little bit sicker than usual after the trip.
Barely.
I don't know.
They're fine within like 2 minutes.
Honestly, I feel like this is something that not only might they answer, they might even just use it to build on things. Like, maybe next season we find, Lucy's got an ability. Wyatt's got an ability. Like, maybe they'll all get little things.
If they do that, I'll stop complaining.
Okay.
Like, they'll take this back entirely. But as of right now in this episode, I'm unsatisfied with that.
I feel like it's so open right now that I can't complain until...
That's fair.
If they definitively say it didn't affect anyone else and there was no reason it didn't affect anyone else, then fine. But I feel like the easy explanation is she's never been before, and because that she was more susceptible to the effects.
Possibly.
I feel like that's the quick and easy solution, and all they need to do is say that, and you can shut your ginger mouth.
Yeah, I suppose. I'll find something else to complain about then.
Also, the character joke about Jaya saying, "Oh, you're going out dressed like that." They never actually showed us where they got their 50s appropriate
they just
clothes.
Had new clothes. It's like, okay.
Yeah, sure.
I like the sort of stuff at first. Obviously, so we go to McCarthy, and Flynn goes in, and he's like, "Where's that accent from?" Like, immediately picking up with his anti-communist stuff. Yeah, I approve of that.
It's funny, I forgot about so much of that because it was, in hindsight, it was such a small part. It was just there to explain how they knew where to go, really. But no, it was a fun scene.
Yeah, it was similar to the gay stuff we were talking about. How they just make things seem natural to the time zone, and that is one of those things where we know he has this agenda and he is against Russia and communism. So as soon as he hears Eastern European, he's just like, hang on a second.
Even Wyatt brings that up, where he's like, "Yeah, you're a red spy," and he's like, What did the guy with the Eastern European accent tell you I was a spy?
It's good.
No, it was a lot of fun, and I like most of it. Is just, and admittedly, some of the wrap up feeling rushed is kind of fine because it had the twist.
Yeah, it's kind of.
I think
I'm in a weird place with it a little bit.
The opening few minutes are rushed no matter what, regardless of how it ended. But I feel like all the wrap up stuff that felt rushed at the time is fine because it's like, oh no, it's not the ending. It's like we think it's okay, but it's not.
Yeah, it's like if that had been an ending, it would have been disappointing. But because it's not, it's like, okay, fine. It was weird in the moment, but afterwards it was okay.
Yeah. So hopefully we get a season 2. Obviously, we do the weekly news videos every week. Friday, Saturday, we tend to put those up. So keep an eye on those for news of renewals and cancellations, because we'll definitely be talking about it in there when it happens. But hopefully we get a season 2, because I feel like it's just scratching the surface of the ideas that it wants to explore. I feel like it's pulling a Fringe, where... And I won't get into spoilers for Fringe, but that show opened up so much in season 2. It was insane.
You think it's one thing, and then all of a sudden it's something else entirely.
I mean, most of season 1 of Fringe, it's like, oh, okay, this is like Modern X-Files, and that's pretty much it. And then that last episode just introduces this idea, and all of a sudden the entire thing is opened up, and and that show became fantastic afterwards.
Yeah.
So
and this does feel similar, where it's like it's grown over the season. To a point where we enjoy it a lot. Where the first few episodes, we were kind of like, it's all right. It's got potential, but it wasn't anything special.
We're at a point now where we like the characters, but we're at the cusp of what could be where the story becomes something special, and it's not just an excuse to go on time adventures.
And they really opened that up with the Jaya stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, they've got something planned to widen this up and really explore the sci-fi stuff.
NBC, don't be dickheads. Make the right call. I'll take a 13-episode season. You can do a short.
Hey, this was only 16, so we're cool with this.
Yeah, 12, 13 episodes. I think it's a fine model for this show going forward. That's
absolutely
perfectly cool. But let us know what you thought of the season finale and the season itself as a whole. We've spoken about repeatedly ourselves about Rufus having a lot of development. They've handled the character. All the characters have become more likeable as the show's went on. I'm actually kind of excited for Jaya to get some more to do, because I like her, but it feels like up until the last few episodes,
she's not really done much, has she?
Mason's cool, and certainly now that we know he's good again,
it's better again now, isn't it?
Yeah, because he's more fun when he's on their side.
He is.
He cracks some jokes. So let us know what you thought of the season and the final, and we will see hopefully for season 2. So like and subscribe, all that stuff helps us out a lot. Get us on Twitter, @meld_fuzz for channel updates and the like, individual Twitters for casual individual ramblings, and that's us, guys. That has been season 1 of Timeless. Hopefully you enjoyed it. We'll see you next time.